the Women Changing the World podcast, a podcast on a mission to bring you some of the most amazing women I know who are doing incredible things to generally make the world a better place. From corporate sustainability to straight up magic and everything in between, you'll meet the real life humans who are birthing the new. I'm your host, Liz Best, and I'm here to amplify the stories and voices of women who are changing the world. To sit down with Claudia Guerreiro. Sorry, still working on rolling my R's. She is a digital marketing freelancer and master of chaos. Claudia is a passionate freelance digital marketer with more than 8 years of experience working globally. She's all about empowering women and helping purpose-driven businesses. Claudia is known for her conscious marketer approach. She is on a mission to make marketing a force for good. Originally from Portugal, Claudia has been living in different countries since 2011, including the UK, France, Cambodia, Singapore, and now Germany. She's visited over 20 countries so far and loves to travel. One thing that sets her apart is her ability to adapt to new environments. She's comfortable living outside her comfort zone and enjoys the flexibility of remote work. In her free time, Claudia volunteers and gets involved in initiatives aimed at making the world a better place. She's a firm believer in using her skills and time to create a positive impact on the world. Today, we talked about everything from what a day in the life of a freelance marketer looks like to what conscious marketing is and how you can embrace conscious marketing practices in your own work, to how Claudia has built community on LinkedIn and her own tips and tricks for how you can do the same. I'm so inspired by Claudia and her work, and I just know you're going to enjoy my conversation with her as much as I did. Hello, and welcome to another new episode of the Women Changing the World podcast. I am so excited to be sitting down today with you, Claudia. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Liz. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh my goodness, my pleasure. I've been so looking forward to this conversation. I feel like I've been admiring you and your work for such a long time. I'm curious, before we get into things, would you mind just briefly introducing yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Claudia Guerreiro, which means warrior in English, and I'm a digital marketing freelancer who believes that marketing can change and be a force for good in the world. So, yes, I call myself conscious marketeer.
I love it. I'm so excited to talk more today about what conscious marketing is and what it means and how you came to be here. So maybe before we get into all the details on conscious marketing specifically, would love to hear a little bit more, Claudia, about how you came to be where you are today. And really the invitation here is take up space and tell your story.
Absolutely, I would love that. I mean, I'm gonna keep it very raw, authentic, transparent, because I think everyone deserves the real story with the failings, with the learnings, and everything that comes with it. So I've started my career in Cambodia, imagine. I'm from Portugal originally, and when I ended my bachelor in business administration, I felt really frustrated. I just felt like that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I wanted to have some impact in the world. And I saw all my colleagues going to Deloitte and all those corporate world, and I just didn't really identify myself with that. So I decided to enroll myself in the volunteering program and went to Cambodia, completely the other side of the world. I always loved to travel and get to know different cultures and so on. I had lived in France already at that time and in the UK. So I was very familiar on, living by myself and this experience of being independent, even though that I was still very young, about 21. At least for Portugal, we leave our parents' place really late. So I was a bit of a pioneer for my time. And so, yes, I went to Cambodia. I did a volunteering program there. And then I was also working at the hotel. So I did like lots of different things. And then I decided to do a master program in a complete different environment. So from Cambodia, I went to Singapore, which is a complete opposite lifestyle. And to be honest with you all, I wasn't very happy at first in Singapore because I had such a raw and authentic experience in Cambodia, working really with very humble people in the countryside and so on. And then suddenly I was back to city life, which I felt that where I didn't really belong. But slowly I found my place in Singapore and I studied there. I had lots of different jobs there, and finally, after working in research, in F&B, in hospitality, I found my place in marketing and communications, which was what I really loved. I loved communicating with people in a positive manner and making some sort of impact. So after all of these different career paths, I finally found myself enjoying my work in marketing. So I joined a startup, and I was really happy with this startup. And I worked so hard to make it like the best startup in sustainability. It was about reusables for F&B. But at some point I was working too hard, as in too hard I burned out, and really really badly. I had to take a long career break after this time because I just found myself in a place that I just pushed myself too hard into marketing and communications. And I needed a break to really recharge and understand what exactly I wanted to do with marketing and communications. So I took a 6 months career break. This was also around the time of COVID. You know, a lot of different things were happening. It was a difficult period for a lot of people. And for me, it was as well. And then, so my family decided that we would reallocate back to Europe. So after almost 10 years in Southeast Asia, here I come back to Europe, which was also readapting myself after so long living abroad, specifically in Southeast Asia. And traveling and so on, I had the great opportunity to discover so much in Southeast Asia. And so I took some time off, and then I started looking for a job. And I wanted a very specific job. I wanted a job that contributed to society in a positive manner, was sustainable, was impactful, and was remote. So it was very important for me to have a remote job, because after so long living in Southeast Asia and unable to see my family, my friends, and I just felt that I wanted to have a lot more flexibility. I always enjoyed remote work, and I feel that has been life changing to work remotely and be able to work anywhere. So I had this very specific values of what I wanted and principles of what I wanted for my next job, and I just couldn't find any job that matched that specific criteria. And so I'm a trailblazer and just decided to create my own job. I was like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to create my own job. I'm certain that I'm here for something, and I will try to do this by myself. So that's when I decided to pivot my digital marketing services. And specifically, I came up with this conscious marketing manifesto of what exactly I wanted to do in marketing, what are the principles that guide my work, and also that I wanted to work 100% remotely. And because of that, it opened opportunities for me to work with people from all over the world. I'm so excited to be here with you. You're in the US, I'm in Germany. I have clients in Dubai, in Singapore, in Bali, in London, in Amsterdam, so in also in Berlin. So I'm really happy that I opened this opportunity for myself, although it was so scary at the beginning to take this risk. So yes, this is a little bit how I came to be a digital marketing freelancer.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, I mean, I'm sorry that it sounds like, burnout was one of the many things that like led you to this place.
Yes.
And it's so exciting to hear how you like really have blazed this trail for yourself and are getting to do the work that you want to do on your own terms. I'd love to hear a little bit more about like what it looks like for you to be a digital freelance marketer and self-described remote rebel.
Yes.
What would you say like a day in your life looks like? And who are your ideal clients? What are your dream projects? Like give us a little bit more of a sense of one, like again, day in the life, and then two, who you're working with on what.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for this question. So, I keep my days pretty flexible. I know that some people like a lot of structure, and I do too. But sometimes I also need to listen to my own body. If my body is asking me to rest, I take a rest instead of. Sometimes I have whole days planned, and I just prefer to take a step back and like listen to my body and say, "Hey, you need some time off, or you need to recharge, etc." Because when you work alone, you do all sorts of things. You're an accountant, you're a customer service representative, you're the salesperson, you're the marketing executive, you're the person implementing strategies, and so on. And sometimes, and that's a lot of hats, right? So I do try to have to be kind to myself as much as possible and listen to my body. So that's something I've learned more recently on how to be a digital marketing freelancer. But a typical day looks like I wake up around 7, I go to walk my dog in the beautiful river Elbe just next to me. And then from there I have my breakfast, relax a bit, and then I start my days around 9:30 to 10. Sometimes I take a break for lunch, a longer break, and just relax a bit more, take my dog for a walk, and then work in the evenings because some clients are in the US or are, in other parts of the world. So sometimes I do work in the evenings. And sometimes I do work on the weekends as well, and instead take a day off during the week, such as, for example, Wednesday, I usually make it my rest day, and sometimes work on Saturdays because, for example, on Saturday, I feel more creative when I don't have to answer lots of emails and lots of things and notifications, etc. So I do take time on the weekends sometimes to work because it's when I feel most creative, when I don't have so many people interrupting, let's say, or at least like asking for stuff that I need to do. And being a marketeer, you need to have your creative time as well. So you need to be, in a space, in a mental space that allows you that creativity. And I feel that remote work has been very beneficial for me specifically because if I need to go home, if I need to go to Portugal right now, I'm in Germany, but also if I want to go to visit a friend, etc., I feel like I have that flexibility. Whereas before, when I lived in Southeast Asia for 10 years, I could just go home once a year and just for 7 days. So that really like made me think like, hey, do I want to continue this life that I just see my family once a year or my friends once a year? And everything I do in digital marketing, I can do remotely. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy meeting people in person. I love meeting people in person. I'm super extroverted, and that's something that sometimes I miss in remote work, and that's why I love joining communities. I know that Liz has an amazing community that she just launched, and this kind of communities, I feel that they are so beneficial for people that are working remotely so that they don't feel so alone in what they are doing. So I've joined a bunch of communities, I've networked a lot, and I'm really, really thankful to have this opportunity to do my own thing and at the same time have the life that I want. I'm not saying that it's all a walk in the park. I work a lot and very hard, but I'm really happy to work for my cause.
Oh, I love that so much and so appreciate the community shout out as well. Thank you. I know I feel like especially in entrepreneurship, which can be so lonely, it can be so helpful to create communities and be part of communities of like-minded people. And I love like the way that you structured your days and your week. I that so resonated with me, like, just, like, it sometimes is so much easier to get creative stuff done on a day when no one's expecting an email reply.
Exactly.
But then it's also a question of, like, how do you balance that back out during the week, which is something I
Yes.
know for me has been, like, an ongoing dance. I did wanna follow up on the question about sort of, like, dream clients and dream projects to
Oh,
get a
yes.
little bit more into the work. So would you be willing to tell us a little bit more about, some of the stuff that you're working on or would like to be working on this year?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the follow up question. I forgot about it in the meantime. but yes, my ideal clients are solopreneurs, women solopreneurs that either are just starting or have started for some time, a year or two or three, even five, but they just feel like their digital presence is chaotic. I meet a lot of amazing women that have so many great ideas and they are doing so much great things to the world, but they are just like spreading themselves across thin when it comes to marketing, because they're trying to be on TikTok, on Instagram, on email marketing, on LinkedIn, on every platform that you can imagine. And it's just not possible for a solopreneur. We have to be very strategic. So I'm really happy to sit down with those women virtually, let's say sit down virtually, and try to figure out what is the best strategy for them when it comes to marketing. So content marketing is one of the services that I provide. I do also email marketing. I do personal branding a lot. I know that you also have some episodes on personal branding that are absolutely amazing, by the way. Always promoting you because I just love you. You know it, Liz.
Thank you. It's so
and
mutual.
and so yeah, so my clients are women, purpose driven. They have businesses that are for good, like for example, they can be coaches, they can be working in social impact, they can be in climate tech, they can be in the alternative protein industry and food tech and so on. So I don't have a very specific niche when it comes to the industry, because I feel that I'm so passionate about many different industries, and that's the beauty of freelance, that I can work in all of these amazing industries that are bringing change to the world. And so yeah, I'm very inspired to be able to help all of those purpose driven women that want to change the world with their own businesses in their own industry. I wanted to say that I mostly work with services, not so much businesses that have physical products.
Gotcha. Oh, that's so helpful. And I feel like it's like, on the one hand, like, yeah, there's not necessarily an industry niche to your work, but I also feel like that is so specific in the sense that you're working with,
That's true.
purpose-led, solopreneur women with service-based businesses.
That's right. I mean, I also work with businesses that have other co-founders, but at least has to have one woman co-founder. That's my main criteria, because I believe that this is the way that I'm contributing to equity as well, and bringing women into being successful in their businesses. Because unfortunately, it's a reality. Women have a lot going on in their lives, but not just that, they just don't get the funding that other startups that are male funded are get. So that's very important for me. I think it's a way for me to contribute also to society, besides all the conscious marketing things that I do.
Totally, totally. No, I that so resonates with me and is so aligned with the work that I do, as well. Is network on your 2023 to-do list? Hi there, it's Liz. If you're liking our conversation and our approach to personal development, career advancement, and living a life that turns you on, I invite you to join our community, the Girls Club Collective. We are the intentionally intimate personal and professional development community for women who are changing the world. Instead of asking for a seat at the table, we decided to build our own. Like most change agents and rebels with a cause, you don't often have enough hours in the day to change the world and cultivate a strategic network. If overwhelm has become your second language and you're feeling tired of trying to convince your own marketing team to actually read your ESG report, you're in the right place. We know that sometimes trying to make a difference can feel like being that one person out on the dance floor trying to get the party started. And that's why we created the Girls Club Collective. It's where women changing the world organize, and all you have to do is show up as yourself. We are the anti establishment version of the Boys Club, reimagining ambition and leading the movement of meaningful work fueled by moxie, strategy, and a little bit of magic. That means you not only gain access to a community of people you need to know, you'll also take a look at how you can grow as a leader, what you really want, and why your dream of living by the beach and working for yourself isn't as crazy as it sometimes feels. By offering monthly peer advisory, salons on timely and relevant topics, networking power hours, and more, the Girls Club Collective is your extended team, your extra brains, and an energizing environment that is geared toward your personal and professional growth. We believe that changing the world is a team sport. Join the collective designed for exactly that and use the code PODCAST, that's all caps podcast, for 10% off your first year of membership. You can find the link to join us in the show notes. And I cannot wait to see you in the collective. I love the vision that you've really and like mission that you have really owned in terms of using marketing as a force for positive change, and would love to
Yes.
go a little bit deeper on the conscious marketing piece. So, for anyone who's listening who's maybe not familiar with you, not familiar with your work, not familiar with the term conscious marketing, how do you define conscious marketing?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, one thing that we realize, or that I've realized in general, is that there's no clear definition on impactful marketing. So I have created my own definition of what is conscious marketing. And I was very inspired by this book of Caroline Tate. She has a book called Conscious Marketing. So I follow a lot of her principles. It's a book from 2014, and she has been a bit my guru on how I've started into conscious marketing and into this movement. So conscious marketing essentially is impactful, sustainable, accessible, human, fun. I think it's very important, because I think a lot of marketers don't have fun. They just feel that they are doing this for profit, and that's pretty much it. And then so yeah, accessible, sustainable, and all of that, and authentic and transparent. I think it's very important we walk the talk, not just talk. So yes, and it's all about building a community around you, and that supports you, cheers you on, and is part of your movement, instead of being very profit driven. So there are eight principles that I follow in conscious marketing. Let me see if I don't forget any of them. Let's give it a go. So from profit driven to purpose driven, from complex to simple, from price driven to value driven, from fear to love. I think I still have a few missing. Let me just quickly check. From interruption to attraction. That's also very
Mm.
important. From duplicity to honesty. And I think I've now set eight principles, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes, these are the eight principles that I follow in my work, and that are really important in every single thing that I do in conscious marketing. If you have any questions about these principles, happy to come back to it. I now have the list just in front of me if you want me to repeat.
I will know. I mean, I love it, and you don't have to repeat any of them. But I guess I'd love to hear some of the something that's like really opened that I've really opened my eyes to over the past 3 years of running my business. Is the way in which I think for so many of us, when we think about marketing, it is so often fear driven or
Yes,
scarcity driven or
definitely.
activating the yeah, just like I
Pain
mean, I
points.
think just
Yeah,
fear, just making us feel bad about
yes,
ourselves to buy things, and
exactly.
there's, like, so much there is a much, much, much better way to sell things in a way that, like, as you've described, like, calls people in, creates a community, like, centers love, like, builds a relationship, um yeah, I guess I'm curious, like, what's your take on, like, the state of marketing overall? And, like, do you feel like more people are moving in this, like, more conscious marketing direction? What are your thoughts on kind of where we are today?
Thanks so much for this question. Absolutely. I love talking about this, and I honestly could talk about this for hours if we had the time. But I feel that we give a lot of attention to people that use unethical and unresponsible marketing practices, because we think those unethical marketing practices work. It's the status quo, it's what has been done, it's what the book says. Why should we do it any different if it has worked in the past, etc., etc.? So people, I think our generation, millennials, Gen Z, uh, have suffered a lot the effects of this bad marketing. If you look into socials, etc., people are depressed because they just don't feel good enough about themselves, because we have experienced this boom of technology where we are exposed to ads everywhere we go, every page we visit, and so on. And they all tell us, if you don't buy this product, you're gonna be ugly, or if you don't buy this product, you're never gonna be smart, or if you don't buy this product, you just suck in general. And so we internalize that all our lives, that we are just not enough. And that's just so toxic and so sad, because we have a whole generation that just doesn't feel that they are enough, right? And so I feel that personally, I'm on the journey to change this. I really don't want us to use fear based marketing. I want us to use love instead, and positivity. I'm not saying that we need to use toxic positivity. That's also not where I want us to go. I really want us to be raw and authentic about our journeys and promote things in a meaningful way. So, for example, instead of saying, hey, don't miss out on this offer, blah, blah, blah. Why not saying, join us on this journey of discovery of whatever. Like, there is such better way of doing like copy and content writing that just does not involve making people feel like they're missing out or by not being part of something. Instead, we're just inviting them to be part of something, and that's just so much more meaningful. When it comes to society in general, I've seen that people are so much more interested in better marketing practices now. I've started my journey, like my active journey on LinkedIn, just about a year ago, and I had only 1,000 followers exactly 1 year ago. And just this last weekend, I reached 10,000 followers, which is
Oh my
really
gosh,
insane.
congrats. That's huge.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really like so excited about it. And I'm a bit like, whoa, how did this happen? But I know how did this happen. I worked hard every single day. So that's how, right? And so yes, I reached 10,000 followers. I'm so excited to see that people are interested in better ways of doing marketing. I have lots of people contacting me on a daily basis about my work, about the things that I do, wanting to have a coffee chat, so much that I had to block my calendar until July. We are now in April. So I was like, hey, okay, I need to, also prioritize how much time I can spend networking and talking to others, which is something I love. And I could spend the whole week doing that. But I also need to have time for myself, for my family, for my dog, for my husband, for, everyone that is dear to me, and also for doing actual work, because I want to walk the talk as well. So so for sure. I think you asked something else. I What was the other question? Did I miss something?
No, I don't think you missed anything. It was really mostly about like the kind of the current state of this like shift toward conscious marketing. But I
Perfect.
guess what related to that, would love to hear. And oh my gosh, there's just such a fun update. And congrats again. I've been watching you like
Thank
grow your
you.
LinkedIn presence. It's so cool. Um, but how do you think about impact in your work? So, like, how are you measuring the impact of your own work, or how are you thinking about the impact that you're making through your business?
Yes, so I mean, mostly by working with purpose driven women, I believe I'm already impacting the world, because I feel that conscious marketing is the secret ingredient for these women to succeed in a meaningful, responsible, and ethical way. And then I'm also always trying to improve myself. Like, I do lots of courses. For example, I joined the Alt Marketing School, which is a alternative marketing school where they teach us to be rebels. So I love it. It's also like completely in this positivity movement of marketing and love and impactful. So yes, I upgrade myself every time that I can. And for example, I try to have as much as possible sustainable practices on my daily marketing practices. One example that comes to my mind is that I have an email marketing platform that plants trees when it sends emails, and I really love it. I'm also on a mission to change my website and make it more sustainable. So that means that I have to, for example, change the domain to a sustainable domain and so on. There's a lot of things that need to be done, but I am not perfect, and I'm not saying that the only way is to be perfect. I think we need to take the steps, every day to get better when it comes to impact. And we should not aim for perfection. I think I'm myself quite a perfectionist, so I try everything that I can to have, the maximum impact, but I also have to be like, hey, it's okay to not be perfect. We are just every day I'm one step ahead and working towards a better world.
I love that, and I think it's so true. Like previously doing like impact work from within like massive like multinational corporations, I think, I had a very different idea of like, oh, like if and when I start my own business, like I'm just going to do everything right from the beginning. But I don't think I had any appreciation of just like how much would be on my plate and how many
Yes,
decisions would need to get made in any given day. And so definitely agree that's like progress, not perfection, as far as like
yes,
identifying the impact you're making through your business and like what are like a few key priorities that can like move things in an even better direction.
exactly, exactly.
Something that you mentioned up front that I wanted to come back to and like dig a little bit deeper on if you're up for it is thinking about like, I don't know, solopreneurship, entrepreneurship can be tough, as you
Mhm.
acknowledged. And I'm curious if you'd be willing to share a little bit more about like what some of like the hardest parts have been of launching your own business or some of the like roller coaster moments or lessons learned that might be helpful for other people listening.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to marketing, particularly, I feel that there aren't a lot of role models that I can follow just yet. So I did feel very alone at the start of my journey because I'm basically, trying to pitch something somewhat new. And there are so many people out there selling their growth hacks and, if you do this, if you use this template, you're going to get rich, kind of. And here I am trying to be responsible, ethical, and I was just like, hey, I'm like really different, but it's okay. I will embrace being different. And so I think that was a bit difficult. Again, coming back to like not having a real clear definition of what is impactful marketing and creating my own definition. I think it was a bit difficult at the start, but I kept believing in myself, kept like like following my gut, following my intuition. And I think that was also really important because sometimes we feel like, oh no, it's just not working out like in a few days. And so we drop it. No, I think it's good to keep going. If you really believe in what you're doing, just keep going and things will come to you at some point. You just need to be patient. You just need to be authentic, transparent, and really share your authentic story. I think a lot of people just feel like they only can start something when they are more successful, when they're more known. And I just feel like we need to come as we are today at this point in time and share our authentic story. And I think that's something that I also learned throughout this journey because at the start I was also not feeling so confident about what I was talking and so on. And then just 1 year later, today, I just feel like, yay, so many people are part of this movement and believe in what I'm doing. And that was also one of the reasons why I recently started this Conscious Marketing Insights newsletter because I wanted to share the story of other amazing people who believe that marketing can be a force for good in the world, and I just didn't feel so alone anymore when I started having people joining and sharing their experiences. And that was something that I'm really, really excited about. And I featured you very recently, Liz. So if anyone is interested in my newsletter, go check it out. Go check Liz's feature called Leaders We Love. She has been featured on the 8th of March, so the Women's Day on top. So you will find her for sure on my LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh, thank you. And yeah, I wanted to talk about the Leaders We Love series. It was such an honor to be featured. And I just love the way that you're shining a spotlight on people who are doing things differently because I think it can just be so helpful to see the real life examples of what this can look like.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like, what inspired you to start the series in the first place? And what are you learning as you go?
Absolutely. So the Leaders We Love actually was inspired in Jess's work, Jess from Reconsidered. She has this amazing, impactful interviews. I think it's called Impact Interviews, if I'm not mistaken. I worked at Reconsidered as a freelancer for some time, and I was really inspired by these interviews. And I really loved the model that she followed. So Jess was one of the first. people being featured in my Leaders We Love campaign, specifically on the Conscious Marketing Insights newsletter. And she started this together with me, let's say. And it was just such an important moment, because I really felt like, hey, I can share the story of other people who are successful in their marketing practices, that are not using this nasty tactics based on scarcity, based on fear-based marketing strategies, based on making people just not feeling good. And so I've been learning so much. I think it's great that, I had the opportunity to connect with these amazing women, and also amazing entrepreneurs in general, that are successful in their own ways, and are also like showing their own definition of success, which I also think it's so important and so part of also this marketing movement. It's not about making tons and being a billionaire. It's just about making an impact with their work, with their business, and having a happy life, let's say. So that's really important. So yes, I feel very inspired by everyone that has joined the Leaders We Love campaign, and I think I learned a little bit from every single person there. And I strongly advise anyone that has a bit of time to go and check out the Conscious Marketing Insights newsletter, and particularly the Leaders We Love campaign.
Mm, yes, I will underline that, and we will definitely include links to those in the show notes as well. Again, I think it's so inspiring, and similarly, I find through doing this podcast, it's such a treat to get to sit down with people who are doing such inspiring work. I almost always like learns at least one thing, often many more things than one. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, it's such a cool way, I think, to shine a spotlight on other women and connect, and also, and hopefully inspire other people out there. And I just, yeah, love what you're doing with the series. And, one of the themes of this podcast actually this season is community. And I'm really talking to a
Amazing.
lot of different people, yeah, who are like cultivating community in different ways and thinking about community in cool ways. And I've been so inspired, like in addition to this series, by all the ways that you've been really creating community, in particular on LinkedIn. So I'm curious, like, one, like what that experience has been like for you to really be building community on LinkedIn, and two, do you have any like tips or tricks or recommendations for people who are listening who also want to be using the platform to build community?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for highlighting that. So, I think the first thing that I wanted to say is just, again, coming back to something that I said previously: come as you are. I think a lot of us think, oh, no, I have to have the perfect content. I have to have the perfect sentence. I have to look pretty. I have to do this and that. So, I think it's very important for us to just meet ourselves where we are today and share our story. And so, I advise that try to be somewhat consistent, but show up for yourself. So, if being consistent for you means one post per week, just do one post per week. Do what you can, If being consistent for you means five posts per week, great, amazing, But I've started last year with about 1 to 2 posts per week, and I have slowly progressed it into more, because then once you get a hang of it, you actually feel excited about posting. At the beginning, I was really like, whoa, scared. What are people gonna think about the things that I'm saying online? Should I be a bit more careful, etc.? And then once you get the hang of it and feel more confident about yourself, now I've been posting pretty much almost every day, and it comes from the heart. Again, if I don't have anything to share that brings value to the community, I don't post, So it's really about bringing as much value as you can to your community, showing up for yourself. And also just remember, social media networks are collaborative platforms. It's not just about yourself. Go around and network with people, comment on others, share their successes, be happy for them, share their offers, even if they are part of your close community. Like, just be a collaborative thought leader, like that's such an important way to build this community around you, because you build just a community of super fans, because they will be there for you when you need them as well. When you are there for others, they will be there for you too. So it's like this principle of reciprocity is so important. And besides, of course, let's say posting regularly, networking and commenting on other people's posts. Also, get out of LinkedIn, as in, like, talk to people in messages and say, hey, I love what you do. Would you like to have a virtual coffee if you have time? I've talked with so many, like, amazing people just via virtual coffees on Zoom or whatever. And that also, like, made me feel so good, because in a way I was like, okay, there are a lot of people like out there that think like me. They just are not brave enough to share their story online, so they come to me, and then suddenly this magic happens. And I've been like talking to people that have said, hey, I'm so inspired by you, I want to start my own conscious marketing journey and be part of your movement, and so on. So that brings a lot of joy to my work and to my life, to know that what I do is inspiring others also to be part of this movement.
Ah, so cool. And I'm sure, I mean, you are definitely a source of inspiration, I think, for so many people on so many fronts. And I also really want to celebrate. I know you were recently accepted into the Break Fellowship, which is a
That's
big
right.
deal. So, for anyone who is listening who hasn't heard of it, tell us what it is.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't expecting to get accepted. Honestly, when I applied for it, I was a bit like, yeah, this sounds interesting. Let's go. Why not? I'm a very much why not person. So I saw this through one of the communities that I'm part of, Nomad Haven, which is a really beautiful community also of women entrepreneurs. And someone recommended this program to me specifically, and I was like, hey, yes, let me check it out. So the Break Fellowship is a program for women residing in the European Union. Doesn't matter the nationality, you just need to reside in the European Union. And it's an incubator program for these women, and it's based on the sustainable goals of the UN, all those goals. I think it's 16 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
The
And
UN SDGs, the Sustainable
yes,
Development Goals.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it may be 17, but
17.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So 17 goals. So the program is based on that, and it's specifically for women. And so we have it's an incubator program, and we have like trainings remotely to start. And then we have also 27 days in Spain specifically. So it's really exciting. Over 1,000 women, if I'm not mistaken, are going to meet together in Madrid, and then we will be yes, amazing, right? And then we will be sent to like smaller groups, and also to other cities. I'm going to be in a city close to Granada, which is a beautiful city in Spain. It's really exciting. And so I'll be in a smaller group of 20 women, and particularly the topic of this group is sustainable tourism, which I'm really excited about. Since I worked in F&B, hospitality, some things are coming to all together once again. So it's really great. And, I've been through like forms after forms and interview and this and that to be part of this journey. And I'm so happy that I have been selected, because the program was like, it's like for 1,000 women, but over 4,000 have applied. So I feel really, really, really privileged to be part of this small community, let's say, and have this amazing experience to have an incubator program completely for free. This program is worth 7,000 euros, and I don't have to pay anything: accommodation, flights, and so on. This is all taken care of, which is really, really nice. And another thing that I was so happy about this program is that accepts freelancers, because not a lot of incubator programs accept freelancers. They just accept small businesses. So it's really a great opportunity for me to pivot my ideas without having to open a business right away.
That's so cool, and I'm so curious, like, what are you most hoping to get out of the program?
I think the community itself will be the most exciting. I'm so excited to meet with 1,000 like minded entrepreneur women. I already had the chance to meet lots of them online through LinkedIn, and also through the platform that The Break uses. And so, yes, I think that's something that I'm really, really excited about, just meeting so many amazing and inspiring women. And of course, I mean, mentoring, understanding if my business idea is viable, if my strategy is somewhat right. But of course, I also want to kind of follow my gut and my intuition and so on. But I think it's really great to have like some mentoring and, people that are supporting me to succeed in my own business.
That's amazing. I so can't wait to hear how it goes. It sounds like such a dream.
Yes, yes, I'm really excited as well, for sure. It's already starting, so I've had my first 3 webinars, and there's still much more to go. And I'm going to Spain. So right now is April, and I'm going to Spain mid-May, and come back again to where I live in Germany in mid-June. So yeah, pretty excited about
Ah, so fun. I can't wait to hear all about it.
it.
Well, I do have a few kind of like quicker hit questions I love asking people on the podcast. Maybe to kick those off, would love to hear what advice you wish you could give to your younger self. And you can pick one age or just give some general younger self advice. But what do you wish young Claudia knew or you could tell her today?
Yes, so I would tell 18-year-old Claudia to follow her instincts and intuition. So back then, when I was about 18 and started uni and was about that age, I felt really lost because a lot of people seemed like they knew what they wanted to do, specifically their courses and so on. And I just didn't quite know what I wanted to do. And it's okay to do an university degree that might not even be what you do later on in life. It's just, I feel like we are told to choose so young, and that's so scary for a lot of people. And we feel, at least from the ideas that we get from society, is that you get a degree and you always work in that and there's no way out. So that was quite scary for me. So I would tell myself, hey, it's okay, you will do lots of different jobs, you'll have lots of different experiences, you will meet lots of different cultures, and that's so much more value than your degree. It's okay to not do exactly what you do in your degree. You will find your way, and yeah, just keep going, and it's all gonna work out at the end, because we are so scared of failure when we are around 18. We just feel like, if we don't pass this subject, it's the end and whatever. Like, we are, at least I was a bit dramatic. So because I just wanted to succeed so badly and be like the definition of successful in society. So I think throughout these years now, I've created my own definition of success, and I'm okay to not be another corporate at whatever those big companies, and just be doing my own thing, my small business, and working with other like-minded entrepreneurs. And so yeah, just keep going, Claudia. You can do it.
Such a powerful reminder. Well, in a similar vein, I'm such a fan of like the inspirational post-it note and just like post-it note sized reminders, like notes to self, if you will. And one day I aspire to put all of the brilliant post-it note sized advice I've gotten on this podcast together in some way, shape, or form. So if you got a post-it to have be your post-it of like a reminder, what's like your favorite inspirational message that you would want to put on the post-it?
I'm sure so many. There are amazing things out there that I could put all over my room, for sure. But if I had to pick one, I think, because I'm so passionate about the way that Walt Disney does storytelling, I think they are very good at inspiring others. Of course, Disney is not perfect. I'm not saying that. But, I really like the way that they build storytelling. And so I think the quote that I would choose, or the post it that I would choose, would be, if you can dream, you can do it. I think this is so powerful and resonates with me so much in the work that I'm doing specifically. Like, you can go against everything, you dream about it, and you can do it, you can succeed. So yes, if you can dream, you can do it. That's my post it.
Mm.
Cliche.
Love it. Well, and I have to ask, I always say like the biggest question. For I used to open with this, but I have been experimenting with closing with it. So because this is the Women Changing the World podcast, if you could change one thing about the world, what's the one thing that you would most want to change about the world?
Absolutely. I mean, besides marketing, of course. I think, marketing would be the big thing that we focus throughout this podcast. But I also wanted to talk about women entrepreneurs. So I think that it would be great to have more incubator programs like the one that I have just joined. The Break Fellowship is a great example on how to support more women into being, solopreneurs or entrepreneurs in general and succeeding. I think there's still not enough of those programs out there. So if I could change that small change, I think it would make such a big difference in the world when there are more women entrepreneurs contributing to society in this meaningful way. I'm certain that the world would also change. So more incubator programs for women that throughout the world, doesn't matter what region. I think it's so much needed.
Yeah, I love that. I just think there's so much good that comes from like women running their own businesses, and love like that idea of like the vision of providing more support for that, because like the statistics, as I'm sure you're familiar, on like
Yes.
just women, women owned businesses versus businesses that are not owned by women is like
Absolutely. And
hard to
women just employ more women on top. I mean, it's been proven in research that women employ more women, and that creates, a better impact on top, right? So, absolutely. And a lot of remote first businesses have been led by women as well, which is amazing.
absolutely. Um, well, I'm definitely like holding that vision right alongside you. And I know
Great.
we talked a little bit about this earlier, but in addition to your LinkedIn, which is amazing and highly suggest that people who are listening go check it out and check out your Leaders We Love series and the Conscious Marketing newsletter. What are the best places for people to like find you, follow you, keep up with you?
So yes, besides LinkedIn, you can also check out my website. You can easily find it on LinkedIn. You can also contact me via email or just send me a private message on LinkedIn. I'm very open. I try at least to reply to every message I have on LinkedIn. And imagine I have 10,000 followers, so I do have a lot of messages, but I do take that extra effort because I feel like it's so meaningful when someone sends you a message and says, "Hey, I love your work. I want to get to know more about you," or whatsoever. I feel like it's really nice to just give back the same energy. So, yes, you check out my website, check out my Conscious Marketing Insights newsletter, have a look at my LinkedIn, and that's pretty much it. I don't have myself spread across through many channels.
Awesome. Well, yeah, again, we'll definitely include those links in the show notes. And I'm sure people will be looking forward to learning more about you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been such a fun conversation. It has seriously been such a treat to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm very pumped after this conversation, and I hope that I can inspire more people using marketing as a force for good in the world.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Women Changing the World podcast. Please rate and review the Women Changing the World podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe for future episodes. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is liz.best, that's lis.best, or you can find me on LinkedIn by searching my name, Liz Best. Join my mail list by visiting elizabethbest.com/monthly meditation, and you'll receive all the latest updates on events, retreats, and opportunities to work with me, plus a monthly love note from my heart to your inbox. I am so excited to keep in touch, and I'll see you in the next episode.